Hello everyone, this is your Python instructor Megha. Today we are continuing with the series of getting started with Python, that is unit number 3, chapter number 3 for grade 11. So the first thing that we are going to study today is conditional constructs in Python. Let us see what is it about. So first of all, what is a conditional flow? What would you wish your teacher when you see them in the morning? Good morning. Now, what would you wish your teacher when you see them during the end of the school time? Good afternoon, right? So, such as depending on the time of the day you wish good morning or good afternoon to your elders, similarly, while writing programs, we almost always need the ability to check the condition and then change the course of program. So depending on whatever is the condition in the program, there are some set of instructions to be followed, and that is the conditional flow. Now let us see this image. Time of the day, depending on what time of the day, that is either morning or afternoon. It can't be both. Remember that. So, depending on the time of the day, you wish your teacher good morning if it is morning, or if it is afternoon, you wish them good afternoon. So, whatever is your condition, however it is satisfied, based on that condition, you have set of instructions to follow. So, if it is morning, you need to say them good morning. If it is afternoon, you will wish them good afternoon. Similarly, in Python, we have different conditional constructs. Let us see what are those. First is if, second is if else, third is if else if. Easy to learn? Now let us see what do they do. So the first one is the if construct. It is the simplest way of implementing conditional construct using if statement. So if statement is basically if you have certain instructions, certain conditions, some set of statements are to be followed. That is, if it is morning, you have to wish your teacher good morning. It does not care about the else part of your statement. For example, I have a variable a, then I'm going to check if a is greater than 0. So if any number is greater than 0, then what do? We write that it is a positive number. So it is just focusing on the if part of the statement and do not care whatever the else part is. So here there is a Boolean expression written after if is known as a condition. So if a is greater than 0, so a greater than 0 is a condition, and if condition is true, then the statement if after is executed. So whatever is the condition, that is the Boolean condition, based on that the statement has to be executed. Let us see another example for if statement. Now in this program, we have a weight, that is int input. How many pounds does your suitcase weigh? So if weight is greater than 50, then it will print you have 200 rupees extra charge for the luggage, and then it will print thank you. Let us see this code on PyCharm. So here's our PyCharm screen, and we are going to write the same program, that is weight is equal to int input. So this is a way how you ask a user for an input. So basically we usually write it in the way of input, and once we are inputting something from the user, it is taking a string, and I hope you remember what are strings. Now whatever weight I am going to input inside the computer through console, that is a number. So I need to convert that string value, which is a character value, to integer value. So I'm going to write int input, enter the weight, and I will give a space here, and in the next line I'm writing if weight is greater than if weight is greater than say 50, then these columns are a must. Now if you see, it has automatically shifted to this part, this space indentation here. It signifies that this condition which I'm going to write now is a part of the if statement. So I'm writing print there is a charge of rupees 200. Fine. after this next statement, I just don't want to print inside if, so I just come back to this particular indentation and I write thank you. So that is what my program will do. So first of all, it will take an input from the user. If you do not want to enter an input from a user, so you just need to give a value here. We'll do that program as well. I write if weight is greater than 50, then print there is a charge of rupees 200. So if this condition is satisfied, then only this statement will run. Otherwise, thank you will be printed. So thank you will be printed in any case, either the condition is being satisfied or not. So I'm just going to run the program and let's check. My program name is this and I enter a weight, say 70. It must print that statement. So there is a charge of rupees 200 and thank you. Let us do it for another variable. Say I give it a value 45. Now this 45 is less than 50 and it only says thank you and it does not run this particular statement. So that is the purpose of the if statement and the condition inside if statement. And if you do not want to give a variable's value during the execution, you can just specify it here. It becomes simpler. So it will not ask you for a value. It will just say there is a charge of rupees 200. Thank you. So the middle two lines are an if statement. It reads pretty much like English. So if it is true that the extra weight is greater than 50, then the print statement about an extra charge, it is printing that there is a charge of rupees 200 for the luggage that is heavy. And if it is not true, then the weight is heavier than 50, then it does not print and it skips the printing and it comes directly to the thank you statement. All right. Now let us see the another type of construct, that is if else. Now if else has two parts. So if it is morning, you need to wish good morning. If it is afternoon, you need to wish good afternoon. So it will be working on if and else part as well. So it is just like an English statement. So this is something like an syntax. So if there is a condition, based on your condition, if it is true, you need to come to the left side and you will print the statements that are given. And if it is false, it will go to the other side and something has to be printed. You cannot skip anything. So the syntax goes like if the condition, now if based on this condition, some block of statements will run, else these block of statements, that is the else part, would be executed. Let us see some example for if else construct as well. So here we have two variables a and b. We are having two statements followed by the condition which is inside if and else construct. Let us see the program. So I have taken two variables a and b and I'm just checking which one is greater. Let us solve this program on PyCharm. So here's my PyCharm screen and I'm deleting the old code. And my program says that there are two variables, say first is a and the second one is b, and I just need to check if a is greater than b or b is greater than a. So what do? If a is greater than b, I've just given them two values 10 and 20. I write a is greater than b. If this condition is true, I write here print. What do I print here? A is greater. And in else part, I write print b is greater. Make sure that you're keeping the indentation right. Indentation is the space that is from the left side of your screen. So if this statement has to be the part of if condition, so it will have to be inside this indentation block. If you are keeping it outside, it will give you some error. Alright, so I have given two values here, a and b. A is 10, b is 20. So it is checking if a is greater than b, and the answer should be b is greater because b's value is 20. So it is just checking the value in the if part. If it is true, it will execute this statement, that is a is greater. If it is false, it will come to the second part and it will print b is greater. Alright. Let us see another example where we are checking the temperature. Based on the temperature, we give some result. So, temperature, we are asking a user for a temperature. If temperature is greater than 70, you are printing anything like say wear shorts, you're giving some instruction, else wear long pants, or you're just giving them an instruction, a general instruction because it is outside the indentation. get some exercise outside. So let us do this program. So here we are back to our PyCharm screen. The first thing I do is I declare a variable. If you're not comfortable with giving these values here right now, you can just simply give some specific static value. Say I give a value 89. So I give a temp, which is a variable for temperature. I told you in the last class that the variable's value should be almost equal to whatever it is signifying. So if it is a temperature, it should be temp or something which is relatable. So I give a value to temperature. Now I say if temperature is greater than 70, it is Fahrenheit, so don't panic. If temperature is greater than 70, so you need to print what? Wear shorts because it's hot. Else, I need to come out of the indentation. Else colon print wear long pants. Now these two statements, so if this is true, this first condition, so the first statement will run. If it is not true, that is if it is false, you need to run second condition. Now I want to print a statement which is any case had to run. So I will just come outside this indentation of else. I'll write print because I'm writing here get some exercise. This no matter whatever is the season, you must exercise daily. So this is general instruction that I want to print. I click here and so you have already given a value that is 89. So it says wear shorts. Let's change the value and check. So I'm giving the value as 50 and run. So it says wear long pants and get some exercise. So this get some exercise is a general statement because it is outside. Let us keep it inside else and just check once. So if only the second statement is true, then this get some exercise will be printed. Say if I come back to my first value that is 89, it does not print this statement because it is inside else block. Okay. So the middle four lines are an if else statement. Again, it is close to English, though you might read say otherwise instead of else, but else is shorter. So you write otherwise, like you write if you do this, otherwise you do that. So same way, but you write here else. Alright, so let us see the last type of construct that we have in Python, that is if else if construct. I think by now you are much more clearer about your if and if else if constructs. So this is almost similar. A syntax of if else if construct is something like this. If there is some condition, the statements will be executed. Else if, so that else if is now combined to elif. We write it elif. So we remove two letters from there and we write it as elif. Condition 2, statements of block 2, else statements of block n. So whatever number of conditions you can put here. So if consists of only one condition, if else consists of only two statements depending on the conditions, if else if can have any number of conditions. So let us see this. Say I have a condition which is say true. So condition 1 statements will be running. Second, if I come to false, if this condition becomes false, say condition 2 is followed. If that is true, statement will be followed, else it will go to condition 3. So this way it is in a loop. Okay. Let us see an example to print the grades of a student based on percentage scored by him or her. So this is a very good example and a very easy example to check if else if construct. So this is a program where we have entered a percentage of a student, and if the percentage is at certain area, so we are going to print that. Here I'm going to use the relational operators that we have done in the last class as well. And also there will be some logical operators like and or, which we have done already. So here we are back to our PyCharm screen. So what are we doing here in our program is we are checking for a percentage. So I write this PERC, or you can write percent. I'll keep it very short. So I write PER equal to, say I scored 78. Okay. So I need to check for certain ranges. So if PER is greater than 85, Okay, so there is a value 85 that you are declaring here. If this statement is true, print, say I'm printing grades here directly, so I'm just writing the name of the grade. So the student gets A. Elif, remember it's not else if now. When you are coding it, you're writing it elif, otherwise you are reading it as else if. So you're writing print B. So which condition are you checking here? So if you see there is a red line. So what condition you will be checking? If PER is greater than 70 and PER is less than equal to 85. So it will be printing B. Now say I have another condition of elif. PER is greater than say 60 and PER is less than equal to 70. So I'm printing C, and say in last condition I just give else because I'm not typing anything else. I do not have any condition. So anybody who is getting percentage less than 60, they are getting grade D. So print D. So there are four conditions. If the student is having greater than 85, it is getting A. Student is having between 70 and 85. So this is greater than 70 and less than 85. So it is getting B. Greater than 60 and less than 70 is getting C, and rest all are getting D. If you want, you can put another condition of elif, and D, you can put the statement as D, and another condition you can put it for failing students or E grade. So what do I do is run the program and I check. So I have now right now entered the percentage as 78. 78 falls under the category of B grade. So the answer here is B. Say I change my percentage to 50. It should be inside the fourth condition, that is the else part. So my grade here is D. So the output, I have given the percentage as 65, so it falls under the category of C grade. So I have got the grade as C. Alright, now let's do some exercise. Write the following program using if-else statement. So the program says something, answer equal to input, do you like Python? So it's asking you, do you like Python? If the answer is yes, you write, that is great. If answer is no, that is you have written anything other than yes, then you write, that is disappointing. Alright, there is a modification in the program. So if it answers yes, then you need to write, that is great. If the answer is no, you write, that is disappointing. And if there is anything else other than yes and no, so you write, this is not the answer to the question. So let us see how do we solve this program. Alright, so we need to declare a variable, that is answer, and here we are taking an input from the user. So we write input, do you like Python? Okay, so what do we do here is we take some input values from the user. So whatever will be the user's value, that is for the answer of do you like Python, if answer is equal to yes. So if answer is yes, it prints, what was the statement? That is great. Okay, so this is the first condition. Now else, what will be printed? That is disappointing. So this is the first or the second condition. Let's try to run it once. So it asks me, do you like Python? I say yes. So that is great. And say I run it again. And now it is asking me, do you like Python? I say no. So it says that is disappointing. So our purpose is solved. But is it properly done? Let us check it once. It asks me, do you like Python? And I write anything. Say I type Megha. That's my name. And it says that is disappointing. So Megha is not the answer to my question, right? So what do I do here is I give an else if statement and I write if answer is equal to no, then it says that is disappointing. Else, for any of the condition other than this, it says that is not the answer to my question. So if it is yes, it says that is great. No, disappointing. Otherwise, it says that's not the answer. So let me try and type Megha again. That was not the answer to my question. So it prints like this. Alright. So that was all about the class today. I hope you enjoyed the class. To learn more concepts of the conditional constructs and a lot more things about Python and a lot more fun programs, stay tuned and see you in the class. Thank you everyone.